Hi, Phil Caulfield here with Guarantee Mortgage. I'm sitting here with Realyvasquez, longtime realtor here in Burlingame with Alain Pinel Realtors. We're just going to talk about the current real estate market. Hi, Lou. How you doing?
Thanks, Phil. Hey, thanks for coming.
Thanks
This is
a lot.
a great idea.
Yeah.
And let's see where this real estate market is going to take us.
All right, great. So what's the overall tone of the market right now?
I think the overtone of the market right now, the way I see it, is that it's very frustrating. Very, very frustrating. And the reason why is because with the lack of inventory that's out there and the number of buyers that are trying to buy something and competing with these prices that are just going through the roof is causing a tremendous psychological problem.
Right.
Really.
Yeah, I get it. Multiple offers still?
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. You know, right now, for example, in Burlingame, you have 8 houses for sale. 8 houses for sale.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
So with these multiple offers, what happens? Like, you know, that price gets set, then what happens?
Well, you see, it's all about the strategy.
Okay.
It's all about the strategy, and the strategy is, you know, for trying to get the maximum amount of exposure in the shortest period amount of time. So what happens is realtors or whoever it might be, maybe even the seller, you put it down below what the market might consider the value of that house.
Right.
You go a little bit down below that price, and what happens is that the market will generate the upswing on it.
Right.
You know, and that's where the aggravation comes in.
Exactly. And then we were talking before, you said, like, you know, once that price gets set, that sets the benchmark for that neighborhood. What kind of problems does that cause?
It's huge because what happens is there are buyers out there. There are clearly buyers that are out there that don't really care what comps are doing. They really
That'd be
don't.
a nice problem to have, right?
It's a really nice problem to have, and it's and I'm probably stretching it out a little bit. You're also talking about buyers in the 25, 35 year range that are doing this, and they have the money, they have the deep pocket, and they are willing to pull the trigger on that when somebody else is just not that financially sound.
Right, right. Okay, well, what are the opportunities in the market right now?
I think it's all driven by the seller.
Yeah.
The seller right now is really who's driving this market right now, and it's just a question of whether or not the seller is basically in a frame of mind of it's time for me to downsize.
Right.
And when you can generate a conversation about the downsizing concept, then at least you have an opportunity of adding to the lack of inventory in the marketplace.
Right, right. We were talking before also, what are some of the reasons you see as the lack of inventory on the market? What's stopping people from putting their homes on the market?
One of the biggest challenges right now is trying to convince a seller, you know, what's right for him. But the capital gains is a real big issue.
Right.
I had a situation just last week in talking to a client of mine, and I actually set him up with a CPA to find out what his situation was. We kind of figured that his house was probably worth about $2.5 million, and he would have been paying close to $500,000 or $600,000 just in capital gains from the time that he bought it back in 1975.
Right. Ouch.
Yeah,
it's a lot of money.
So that's a lot of money.
Any other things holding people back?
But what's interesting is the CPA said, look, what a lot of these people who are concerned about the capital gains, what they don't realize is that if they have kept track of all the improvements, from the time you get your deduction, the big deduction everybody's looking for, the $500,000, and then they have the improvements that they've done,
right,
that'll offset the capital gains these are talking about.
I got you.
And it's a matter of them beginning to understand how that works.
Exactly, exactly. Okay. Last question. Is there a price in this market where it changes from a seller's market to a buyer's market here on the peninsula?
No, I think it's all inventory driven.
Right.
It's all based on inventory, and because each neighborhood has a certain dollar point, and there's several people out there buyers that are clearly out there able to zero in on each one of these neighborhoods and are willing to pay those numbers.
Right, right. So the sellers still have the market, huh?
The sellers are clearly in control of this market right now.
And you see that changing anytime soon?
I don't see that changing anytime soon. I just think it's going to continue going until until the sellers decide to accept the capital gains And in some cases, they're actually moving out of their houses for a couple of years and then moving back just to determine if whether or not the place that they might consider retiring to suits their needs. And if it doesn't work, then they can just come back and move into their house.
And you've seen that happen, haven't
I've
you?
seen that happen several
Well,
times.
this is a great place to live.
It has its advantages and disadvantages.
Exactly. Well, Lou, thanks a lot for your time.
thank you.
I think
No, this is
me and
great.
the viewers will get a lot out of that.
I appreciate that. I really do.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.